it is a small little building that is the Fort Pitt Blockhouse. This building is the oldest existing structure in Pittsburgh, and it's actually one of the oldest existing structures west of the Allegheny Mountains. It was built in 1764. Just think about that. When did our country start? 1776. This was built before that. It's never been moved, and it's never been changed in all of those years. It sits right next to Point State Park. Point State Park is our Pittsburgh's front yard, basically. It's a 36-acre park where they host a whole lot of different events over the course of the year, from the Three Rivers Arts Festival to the Three Rivers Regatta and many, many other things. Inside the walls of the Point State Park, you can actually see the outlines of the old Fort Pitt and the old Fort Duquesne. But the thing that everybody looks for in Point State Park is the fountain at the point. This fountain was built in 1970, and they actually took down 2 more bridges in order to make room for this. The Manchester Bridge and the Point Bridge. The fountain can shoot a stream of water up to 150 feet in the air. It's controlled by a computer, so that whenever the wind gets too high, it lowers the spray so that everybody around you doesn't get wet. They try to keep as much water in the basin as possible. But you know what? This fountain can use up to 6,000 gallons of water a minute. But luckily, it's all recycled. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Captain Jason again, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about the rivers that we're riding on today.
All right, thank you, Nancy. We are actually currently coming off the Monongahela River right now. We are going to be on the confluence of all 3 waterways here in Pittsburgh. The front of our boat will be on the Allegheny River. The middle of our boat right now is on the Ohio. The back of our boat is coming off the Monongahela. If you ever want to be in 3 places at one time, knock that off your bucket list, because right now you're on all 3 rivers. Now the Ohio River actually starts right here in Pittsburgh. To the right-hand side of the boat, this is actually mile marker 0.0. If you look off to your left, and if you follow the Ohio River 981 miles, that'll take you all the way down to Cairo, Illinois, where it meets up with the Mississippi. From there, you make a left-hand turn to the lower Mississippi. If you follow that 953.8 miles more, you're going to end up at the Gulf of Mexico. From the Gulf of Mexico, that does make Pittsburgh accessible via the waterways to anywhere in the world. That is roughly 2,000 miles from where we are right now. At the current speed, we're traveling at just about 6 miles an hour. If we were to travel all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, it would take us 24 hours a day traveling, just about 2 weeks to get there. The Ohio River does have 20 active lock dams. It has a sand and gravel bottom on it. The Indians did name the Ohio River Ohio, meaning beautiful waters. Now we will be back on the Ohio later on. Right now we're going to head up the Allegheny River. The Allegheny River gets its start in Potter County, Pennsylvania, arches up through Olean, New York, returns back down to Pennsylvania. The Allegheny River then flows 325 miles down here to the city. Even though this river is so long, we can really only safely navigate the last 69.5 miles up to about East Brady, Pennsylvania. The reason we can't go any more is because of the lock and dams. There are no more above East Brady, so the water becomes too shallow to navigate on. If it wasn't for our lock and dams, the average river right here in Pittsburgh would only be 2 to 3 feet deep 9 months out of the year. Because we do have our lock and dams in place, the Army Corps of Engineers guarantees us a minimum at all times of 9 feet of water. They actually hold us right here in Pittsburgh on average at 16.5 feet deep.